Welcome back to Game Talk from the Bench. I'm your host, Drew Barreto. Today, we here my co-host, my uncle Andrew Barreto, and my guest, my other uncle, Uncle Joe. And we got a lot to cover. We got some NFL news, um, new signings, quarterback battles, things like that. In the NBA, we are in the playoffs still. We are getting to the conference finals. Already, two teams have moved on. We got two more teams still waiting to move on. We'll talk about that. In the MLB, we'll give you our weekly MLB standings as well as some MLB news, especially talking about a little bit of Shohei Ohtani. And finally, we'll end off with maybe a little bit of hockey, but we'll see if we get there. Starting us off in the NFL. Wide receiver Jawan Jennings, big name, right? He was asking for a lot of money to return to the Bay, to return to San Fran. Ultimately, he's going to the Vikings on a 1 year, $8 million deal. So Jennings, who was I believe was looking for about 15 plus million a year, doesn't get it. He takes the 1 year prove it deal. He heads to Minnesota, who's already got two great wide receivers in Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson. So adding him to that room, I mean, I think it's arguably one of the best wide receiving cores in the league right now, especially for this upcoming year. And so, it's just a big signing for the Vikings, but their biggest question is who's going to be playing quarterback?
Yeah, right now, looking at the depth chart, ESPN's depth chart, they have Kyler Murray right now as the starter. But yeah, no, I like the signing for Jawan Jennings, to add to that a wide receiver core. Um, and I think Niners are going to feel that one a little bit, because that's something that he had a pretty productive. At least in 2024, he had a productive year, 975 yards, and he still gave him about 9 touchdowns last year. So I think that's gonna. In the end, though, he wanted a lot of money for to try to stay, and he saw those other guys get paid, with the Niners, and so he saw Brandon Ayuk get his money, and then before that, Debo get his money. So he looked like he was trying to hold out there, and it didn't work out. So he's moving on to the Vikings, where yeah, it looks like he's got a good situation there, some weapons to for Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I think it was a good signing for Minnesota. Like you said, they have a 1-2-3 punch now. A great third down receiver. Um, Not happy that he left for a 1 year, 8 million. I'm sure we probably would love to have him for 1 year, 8 million, and it's a frustrating thing to see him leave like that. Because like you said, he wanted 15, 20 million a year from the Niners, and now we know he wasn't going to get it. So you know what? All the best to him. He's a great talented receiver. I think Kyler Murray is going to start, and I think he's going to have a great year this year with those three receivers. I mean, can't go wrong right there. I mean, 1, 2, 3. I mean, it's a good help for Kyler Murray. I mean, even if it's McCarthy, we don't know who the starter is going to be. I think it's going to be Kyler Murray. I don't think the Niners are going to feel it like you think, Andrew, but I just think that he's not overrated because he's worth what he's getting. So I just didn't like it that he didn't want to take a 1 year deal with us for 8 million again, and that's okay. And like Andrew said, it's because Brandon Ayuk just got that 140 some million, and now he's not going to get any of it. But
Yeah, now they're fielding trades for him, right? They're listening to phone calls, and it's like no one's calling right now. Like, come on, we got this guy here. He's a good player, but just attitude, right? I mean, just doesn't want to be there. And it looks like Jawan Jennings didn't want to either. They're all just playing around with management and coaches, and yeah. So now he's off to greener pastures, I guess, and he's starting a new chapter of Jawan Jennings' career.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting. Like we were just talking about, like who's the quarterback. I think I agree with you, Joe. I think it should be Kyler Murray. I think he's got the experience. He's been in the playoffs. I know they drafted JJ McCarthy, I believe, tenth overall a few years ago. Obviously, he had the rookie knee injury his rookie year. Last year, he wasn't really performing like they wanted to, and it's not like he didn't have talent around him. He still had Justin Jefferson, he still had Jordan Addison. Believe T.J. Hawkinson was playing last year, and so he had the weapons available. He just wasn't performing. And I think for a Vikings team who 2 years ago when they had Sam Darnold were in the playoffs, They know they have the team. They have a great defense. Um, they want to be back in the playoffs. And I think for them to get back there, I think Kyler Murray is the way to go. Now, I'm not saying Kyler Murray is going to carry them to a championship, but I think he is the better choice for JJ McCarthy. McCarthy might just be one of those guys he needs to just sit behind someone a few years. But it's gonna be interesting. So we'll see how that all plays out. With training camp and all that. But moving on, Jets. We talked about it a little bit earlier in the year. Brees Hall, right? He might have gotten traded. He ended up getting the franchise tag, but he won't be playing on that franchise tag this year. He signed a 3-year, about $46 million contract to stay in New York. So the running back, who was, he was a little upset. He kind of wanted out of New York. But we all know money makes people happy.
Yeah, it looks like what was that? I don't have it in front of me. What did he? So he's not franchise tag.
No, he's not playing on the franchise tag. He signed a 3-year, $45.75 million deal.
Well, he got paid. He's a young guy. Yeah, it's probably making him happy. Maybe he goes and celebrates in the club or something. I don't know. But one guy who the Jets are retaining. And hopefully trying to build around him, I guess. But yeah, he's got his cash now. It's time to play.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't think if I was Brees Hall, I wouldn't have took the 3-year, 46 million. I mean, he's worth more than that. I mean, that's what, almost 13 million a year. I mean, that's really not that much for a running back. Like he's a high talented player. He deserves more. I mean, he's pretty much the only weapon they have there, really. I mean, he catches the ball. I mean, he's a great talented running back. I mean, overall, he's a top 10 back in the league, and I just don't know if he deserved more. But you know what? The Jets are probably happy. Like Andrew said, he's happy. So as long as they're happy, I mean, good luck to the Jets. I mean, we'll see what they do. But I mean, to me, they're still the Jets, Jets.
Hey, we know what's going to happen, right, Joe? They can sign whoever they want. We know what's going to happen. Let me tell you right now, they're last.
Yeah, it's when you have the second overall pick and you've had the top 5 pick probably in the last 10 drafts and you're still picking there. I mean, it just says a lot about the organization. But yeah, both sides might be agree to be happy, and this other guy I'm about to bring up, he might be happy too. Chargers agreed to terms with tight end David Njoku. Njoku spent 9 seasons in Cleveland. We know they went to the playoffs. I believe, I know at least once. They might have gone a couple of times, but he's going to LA. He's going to Justin Herbert. I think he's a great addition for the Chargers offense. With the offensive coordinator, Mike McDaniel, and obviously Justin Herbert. However, though, it's a tough division. We've seen Herbert in the playoffs. He hasn't looked great. And Joker's a great tight end. Taking nothing away from him, but I don't know if this threads the needle for the Chargers in that offense.
Yeah, and he's the Joker. He's been injured the last couple of years, right? His stats are not what they were previously. I think he four touchdowns, while appearing in 12 games last year. I guess it'd be an upgrade for what they had last year. I think they had like a whole tight end committee there. They didn't really have a solid number 1 tight end, so we'll see. He's got to be healthy. He's healthy, then maybe I think he'll be a good option for Herbert, like you said. And this is going to be a tough AFC West. That's you got Herbert, Mahomes. Cousins is in that one now, and the Broncos, right? Too. The Broncos were there, and they were a couple plays or a game away from the Super Bowl. So yeah, it is competitive. But yeah, we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great signing, I think. Like you said, as long as he stays healthy, we'll see if he's healthy. Like you said, they had a tight end by committee last year, so I mean, right now it's him. He's probably going to be the starter. Not a great blocking tight end, but he's a great receiving tight end when he's healthy and he's on the field. So we'll see. I mean, it's definitely a great addition, but I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. I think it's good for the Chargers. He's a talented player when he's not hurt. We'll just go with that. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, he's a very athletic tight end. Like you said, they were tight end by committee last year, and so now they have a solid tight end to work with. Andrew, you brought up the Broncos were a few plays, well, not a few plays, they were a game away from the Super Bowl, and that's who I want to talk to next. You know Marvin Mims, I believe is the wide receiver I'm talking about. Yeah, he says he says the Broncos were expecting the Super Bowl this year. And it's obviously so. Bo Nix went out with the injury last year in the playoffs. Right, it was brutal. Kind of just killed their chance of beating the Patriots at all. And so and then you know, they had a great defense, but for me, it's just like you talked about it. Mahomes is coming back; he'll be healthy. We all know the Chiefs had a down year last year, but they're still the Chiefs. Anything can happen. Chargers and the Herbert, they were just in the playoffs. Raiders, Fernando Mendoza, first overall pick, Kirk Cousins, they had a great offseason. They kept Max Crosby. It is going to be a tough division. The division is going to be a lot different than it was last year. And the Broncos, I talked about it all last year. I thought they were frauds. And they ended up beating the Bills. But like I said, Josh Allen beat the Bills. He was the reason they lost. And so obviously, like I said, they expect to be Super Bowl, right? Super Bowl worthy, but I don't see it happening next year.
Yeah, I don't see it either. I think, yeah, I know we talked about it several times about them pulling out. I mean, they won the games. They won the games that were in front of them, but how convincing were they in those games? I mean, like I said, they got the W, but I just don't think it's like, hey, watch out, here's the Broncos, they're coming. It's that defense, right? That defense was the one that kept them, at their record that they were and going far in the playoffs. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I don't know if everybody right now is going for the Super Bowl. So we could say that in the beginning, and then once the season starts rolling around, um, see everyone's teams start clicking with their new additions.
I have to disagree with both of you. I think the Broncos are a Super Bowl contender, and they are. Gosh, their defense, man. Like you said, they held them in the games, but not only did they hold them in the games, I mean they're just a defense that's just an A plus in my opinion. I mean they're a great defense, and if Bo Nix doesn't get hurt, we don't know what happens. I still think Seattle would have beat them in the Super Bowl, but
Yeah.
it probably would have been a lot better game than what it was. But yeah, I don't know if Mahomes. We'll see if Mahomes is going to be the same Mahomes. We don't know when he's coming back. Mendoza and Kirk Cousins, they got something to prove. And the only other team that, personally, in my opinion, that's going to compete with them is the Chargers in the division, of course. Obviously, they got the Ravens and the Bills and all that. But they won those games last year. A lot of those close games. I mean, they went on a big winning streak. I mean, are they going to do it again? Probably not. But I could see. I would not be surprised if they win that division. It's going to be a tough division, like you guys said. The Raiders had a lot of big pickups, but everyone's got to mesh. And another season under Sean Payton. He's a great coach. He's a. I mean, I just think their defense is just unbelievable. So, if they're in the Super Bowl, I would not be surprised.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's a good take there. I mean, that defense was and of course, in all these Super Bowls, what ends up winning the games, right? It's the defense. They had enough offense to get them that far, and yeah, I agree. The Bo Nix, if he's in that game, might be a different outcome than what we saw. Maybe more competitive game too. I mean, he went down, and it seemed like all the Broncos went down too. Just they tried, but it just wasn't enough.
yeah, no, I mean they're definitely a great team. Just for me, I just feel like they didn't do a whole lot, this offseason. Obviously, they did have the draft, but I don't know if they did enough to improve. Like I know, like you said, they have a great defense. Bo Nix played a great year last year. I just think next year it's going to be tougher. Dan Campbell said it best, right? When the Lions made it all the way to the NFC Championship, he said, it only gets harder from here. And look at the Lions. They were a couple plays away from going to the Super Bowl after falling short to the Niners. I mean, it's just every year it gets harder. And I just think for the Broncos, I think last year was the year to get to the game. I don't think, like you said, I think Seattle still would win. Um, but yeah, it's going to be tricky. It's going to be tough. The season brings a lot of lot. It brings a lot of surprises, so it will be interesting. But moving us on to the NBA playoffs. We were in the semifinals, and we've had some great series, and we've had some series we would like to forget. And those series are already over. We have two sweeps already. The Knicks swept the 76ers. 76ers had a few close games, but the Knicks just steamrolled them. Embiid was out game two. Paul George, Tyrese Maxey didn't show up in game four. Knicks just dominated. They just dominated from start to finish. And the other sweep we got is Thunders and Lakers. Game two was really brutal for the Lakers. The refs were horrendous. We even had the Lakers complaining to the refs after the game, which is something I've never seen. JJ Redick said LeBron's the only star player who doesn't get foul calls, which is absurd to me when Steph Curry's in the league. But yeah, so Lakers get swept. LeBron is swept again. The Thunder are undefeated thus far in the playoffs. I don't think that will hold on much longer. But Knicks are going back to the Eastern Conference Finals like they were last year, and so are the Thunder. And so those two teams move on, and I mean it's just yeah, like I said, it's two series we wish we did not have to watch on TV.
Yeah, the Thunder and Lakers, right? That one, obviously, the Lakers are missing 30 points a game with Luka. They needed him for any kind of chance for them to beat uh, Thunder or even make it a competitive series. They needed Luka, and fortunately, he was out for the season. So are the Lakers, and Thunder they're just really good right now. I know they're all over social media of flopping and. But just guys coming off the bench giving you 20. I think AJ Mitchell is one guy. They have a guy named Isaiah Joe. I mean, I've heard of these guys, but now that Jalen Williams is not playing, and then just the next man up off the bench has just been, just been performing for their team. And yeah, it was easy money for the Thunder there, and now they're awaiting, winner of the next games of the next series. So.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think the Lakers were going to get swept the way they played against the Rockets, even though I had the Rockets sweeping the Lakers. Obviously, I was
We
completely
did too.
Yeah.
so. But you know what? It's just LeBron gets a lot of fouls called for him, when he doesn't deserve them. So you know what? Sometimes it happens where you're not going to get all the calls. You know what? You're 41 years old. Probably should retire. I mean, he had a great playoffs anyways. I'm not denying that he didn't because he played great for his team. Like Andrew said, Luka, they're missing Luka. Luka is the star of the Lakers right now. And when you don't have your star, it's like the Warriors when they don't have Steph Curry. It's hard to win. So, it's hard. But you know what? OKC's playing great. They got like, I don't know, 4 or 5 first-round picks for Chris Paul a long time ago, and look at they're all paying off now. So, and not all of them are there, but you know what? That's how you rebuild a team sometimes. And look at them now. I mean, they're just performing at another level, and the way they're playing, they're more likely going to the NBA Finals. I don't think it matters between the Spurs and the Wolves. On the East, the Knicks, they're just playing phenomenal. They have that star power we talked about. They have that star power, and it looks like that star power is showing up and stepping up. So that's great for the Knicks. I didn't think that was going to happen. I said they were going to beat the Hawks, but I did not see them sweeping the Sixers, the way Embiid was playing. But you know what? The Knicks could beat the Pistons, and I think the Pistons are going to win that series. And I can see the Knicks going to the finals. Them winning it, I think OKC is gonna be a back-to-back champion. Sorry to say, Knicks fans.
Uh, I like it, but I'm gonna disagree because I think yes, right. The Lakers missing Luca, but I think between the Wolves and the Spurs. First off, Luca was catching a lot of slack because he hadn't returned. We saw what's his face. We saw him beat with appendicitis. He had his appendix removed. He came back a few weeks later. Cade came back a few weeks after a collapsed lung. Freaking Anthony Edwards came back after his knee injury. So Luka was catching a lot of slack for not coming back
Hmm.
after a hamstring injury. We know those are pretty deadly, but Steph Curry had the hamstring injury, and they all the Warriors needed to do was win one game last year, and he would have been back. But that's a different story. But I don't know. I think right now with Game three is going, or game five is going to the Spurs. They're up 121-93. They would have won game four had Victor Wembanyama not got ejected. Um, I think the Spurs are winning the series, but I think either team, I think they're a good matchup for the Thunder. I really do. I think I know Edwards is not fully healthy. He's dealing with the knee issue. They did lose DiVincenzo, but the Timberwolves, they have the size, they have the depth, and I just think they got the matchups, to force, to make it difficult for Thunder and potentially beat them. We saw it earlier in the year. Anthony Edwards, and the Timberwolves, they beat the Spurs. I mean, not the Spurs, the Thunder. We've also seen the Spurs dominate the Thunder throughout the regular season. And when Wemby's on that court, I mean, it's just brutal. It's tough. It's tough for defenses. And like I said, the Spurs dominated. They dominated the Thunder in the season. I think they took the series maybe 4-1. They might have even won all the games. But I think the Spurs, if they win this series against the Timberwolves, I think if they play the Thunder, I think they're the team coming out of the West. And as for the East, it's funny, the Knicks, they have a lot of star power in that starting lineup. And, they've been crazy hot. Um, but the teams that they faced just they're not comparable to the Cavs or especially Detroit. Now, that series is really tight, right? It's 2-2. Both teams have won the home court advantage. So game five is tomorrow in Detroit. I'm looking for the Pistons to come out. And I think the Pistons win that series. And I think if the Pistons face New York, I think New York's going to struggle, and I think for me, my prediction, I have the Spurs versus the Pistons in the finals, and I have the Spurs winning.
Uh-oh. You remember the NBA Cup, right? The two teams that were in the NBA Cup. It was the Thunder before the championship. It was Thunder and the Spurs. So we're going to see. I think we'll see another Thunder Spurs kind of rematch of that middle of the season that nobody ever remembers and they don't keep stats for. So we'll end up seeing that again. And this will be the toughest challenge for Thunder. I think the Spurs end up, because of Wemby, because of the freak of nature and what he's carrying this team and what he's doing there. I think he ends up pulling an upset and getting the Thunder to go to the finals. On the other side, I think Pistons. I think it'd be a better challenge if it was the Pistons. And I don't know. We talked about this briefly, how I just don't like any team with James Harden on it. So I'm not counting the Cavaliers to be even competitive. Well, I know it's 2-2, and I actually had Pistons for a sweep, but that's not happening. So I think it'd be Pistons and the Knicks, and potentially like a 7-game match, in my opinion. I think the Knicks edge them just enough. They're playing some hot basketball right now, both sides of the ball. And I think the championship, you have the Spurs and the Knicks, and it's going to be a good one. The same rematch of the
I was about to say the cup of the tournament cup where the Knicks ended up winning. Yeah, it's gonna be good. So Joe, you have Thunder versus Knicks, and you got the Thunder repeating.
Yeah, back-to-back champions.
Ooh, man, that's so the Thunder back to back. I mean, where does that rank? I mean, especially, I know it's still early, but they sweeping right through teams very easy.
Yeah, and
There's no challenge yet.
yeah, we talked about it. At the start of the year, they had the opportunity to beat the Warriors 73-9 record. Didn't happen. Now they're 8-0. Warriors have the record for consecutive wins to start the playoffs. They were 15-0, I believe, in 20
2017? No,
2017. I believe it was
I think you got a
2017.
ball right here. Let me see.
16.
No, I don't think it was 16. I think it was 17 because they
27.
lost one game. 2017, yeah, because they lost one game to the Cavs. So they started off 15-0. Currently, the Thunder are 8-0, but I don't think they're going 15-0. Whoever they're playing in the next round is gonna take them at least 6 games, potentially 7. So I don't see the Thunder sweeping their next opponent
No.
whatsoever. And then even then in the finals, I don't see them winning the first three games. Um, but that was something I saw. It's not gonna happen though. Thunder
They
are a
will
great
talk
team, but
about it though. They will, right? Just like
yeah,
they
they
talked
are.
about the record, they'll talk about them potentially trying to. Yeah, the Warriors they lost that one game in the finals, but they easily went through whoever they played in their route to the championship that 2017 year. But yeah, Thunder they're the champs for a reason, and they're showing it.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. They're gonna get a lot of rest for the next series unless the Spurs clean it up the next game. But that is all that we have for basketball. Sad news before I move on, though. Sad news did come out of the basketball world. Brandon Clark, the forward from the Grizzlies, he sadly passed away at the age of 29. I do not have details of his passing, but yeah, the forward was with the Grizzlies for his, I believe, 7 year career, and it's just it's just tragic. You never want to see, especially a current. I mean, any player that's ever been in the league, but especially just a current player. It's tough. It's gonna really impact the team. So I just wanted
Did you hear the other one too?
to.
Jason
Jones.
Collins.
Oh, Jason Collins. There we go.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
Jason
also.
Collins. He just passed away too, so it was like two people today. That's crazy.
That brain cancer.
Yeah, he was only 47 years old, man. Yeah, I remember him from Stanford. Him and the twins. He had a brother.
Yeah, so sad day in the NBA world. But moving on to the MLB, we'll give you our weekly MLB standings, and then the AL East, the Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, talk about a surprise of a team. They are 27-13. They are ahead of the Yankees for the lead in the AL East. And then in the AL Central, we got the Guardians. Obviously, they're a great team. They're usually in the postseason. Followed by the White Sox, who are 19-21. Munetaka Murakami, the sensational third slash first baseman, has been phenomenal for them. And the Tigers are struggling without Tariq Skubal. They are going to be struggling, and I can't actually see the bottom one with my phone. The A's, the Sacramento A's are leading the AL West, and I've talked about it. They have a great young hitting core. They have a great lineup. I mean, Brent Rooker. They got acquired Jeff McNeil. Nick Kurtz. Jacob Wilson. I mean, they had all stars. It's just I've always said that their pitching is just really questionable. But so far, they're good enough to lead the division, and potentially we might see the some games in Sacramento being played in October. But
Man.
in the National League, Braves, they have been phenomenal. 29-13. They are 9 games ahead of the Phillies in the NL East. Cubs are 27-15. They have been great. They are 18-5 at home. I believe they have a 15-game winning streak at home. They've been phenomenal. Brewers are second at 22-16. And in the West, uh, the Giants and the Dodgers are having a series. So the Padres, they did end up losing tonight to the Brewers. They are they are leading the NL West, and and a reason for the struggles with the Dodgers is their hitting lineup, right? And when you talk about Shohei Ohtani, you think of his 50 home runs and his stolen bases, but that's not the case. Ohtani's only hitting um about shoot, where did it go? He's not hitting that great. He's batting 233 with 6 home runs, 16 RBIs. He has not been. He's been pitching phenomenal. He's been pitching like a Cy Young. Um, but he's just been phenomenal pitching. Like I said, hitting, they're not playing well, and Dave Roberts is actually having to manage the team, and it's just not working out for them. And so, Joe, I mean, I know the Giants have struggled, but Dodgers, who are supposed to be a powerhouse, they're struggling. They're not even leading the division.
No, they're not. They Giants won last night, 9-3. Dodgers did not play a great game. They're in LA, so and then they standings last night.
Is he quiet for you too?
Yeah.
We're losing you, Joe. Your audio like went out. But yeah, no. Hopefully you get that fixed if you while you get that fixed. But yeah, no, they lost 9-3 last night to the Giants, like you said. Roki Sasaki, their sensational starting pitcher that they signed last year. Just he's not been hitting well. But not hitting well. He's not been pitching well. And this team is just struggling. Mookie Betts, I believe, is returning, but it's just for them, being such a powerhouse that they are, for them to be second to the Padres, and the Padres themselves, they aren't even playing all that great. Their star players are batting barely a buck 50, or like 250. They're not playing that great. So the Dodgers, their struggles, it's fans are, they're
They're
upset.
already they're already whining or what? What are they doing? I mean, it's just
They're not showing up to games. It's what it is.
already. Don't tell me that. I mean, they're
I
the
believe last
champs.
I believe last night, the stadium was kind of empty after
Oh,
after that loss, and
you see
so it's
how it is over there. They win a championship and then they start losing more than expected, and then they just don't want to show up anymore, and they're gonna start slashing ticket prices. Give me a break.
Can you guys hear me now?
Oh yeah,
we
yeah.
got you.
Okay.
We were
So you
just
want
talking about the Dodgers. He's saying he's watching the games. It's a little empty over there in LA right now. Why? Why? Because they lost 17 games already, and they're already calling it raising the white flags or what?
Well, back-to-back championships isn't enough, huh?
Yeah, spoiled, man.
yeah, I mean the people, and like I said, Joe, you cut out so we didn't get to hear you, but you were talking about it. If you want to repeat what you were saying.
I was just saying how the Giants, they just weren't playing. They're not playing good right now. We'll see what happens. They traded Patrick Bailey, so he said he wasn't batting good. So we'll see what happens there. Very shocked about the A's being in first place. I don't think that A's will host anything in Sacramento this year, but hey, you never know. It can't happen. It'd be amazing actually if they did that out in Sacramento. For the people out there. But the Yankees. I think the Yankees are they're playing phenomenal too. And look at the Rays are just playing just a little bit better. So that's crazy how that the Rays can just keep playing phenomenal baseball with not a big market. So they're playing good. The Braves, man, though, I'm shocked with the Braves just being ahead of the Phillies so much. I mean, the Braves, they're playing phenomenal baseball right now. I mean, and the Cubs, I mean, look at the Cubs. 15 games at home in a row. I mean, that's just, I don't know. That's just really good right now at home. So, you don't want to go to Chicago.
No, you don't. But yeah, you talking about, you love for, some playoff baseball in Sacramento. And there's a good shot it happens. The Astros, they lost Carlos Correa for the year. He had a knee injury. He's done. They lose their third baseman. Um, Mariners, Kyle Raleigh's on an 0 for 36 streak. He has not been the MVP type player like he was last year. And for the Angels, the Angels, they usually do this every year. They usually have like a pretty, hot start to start the year. And then they cool down. But they could still make some noise, maybe make some trades or whatnot. But I know they got not the best owner, but yeah, playoff baseball in Sacramento could be cool. It would, like you said, it'd be great for the city. They definitely pack out that AAA stadium, but I don't think the league would allow that. I think the league would probably force them to play
move
probably
move it, move
down in San
venues.
Fran.
No. Hey, I think
Uh,
get a game in Vegas or something. Have a venue over there in Vegas, but who
they got
knows?
their
We're
they
already
got
ahead
their
of
yeah,
ourselves.
they got their AAA stadium in Vegas, but who knows? Who knows? And I don't know. But
Play playoff
some
game 100-degree weather. Why not? 115-degree weather.
hey, but their renderings of their stadiums, it looks nice. I can't wait for that to be done. Take a trip down to Vegas to check out an A's game. But yeah, some other news in the league. Mets call up their number two prospect AJ Ewing for MLB debut. Dodgers get outfielder Alex Thomas for a prospect and trade with the Diamondbacks. Framber Valdez, he's set to make his first start since serving a 5-game suspension. Um, we talked about Otani, 0.97 ERA, scores off against the Giants, but unlikely to hit because of his slump. Who was the last one I saw? Paul Skeens, he was flirting with perfection. Not with perfection. He was flirting with the no-no. But he took it into the seventh. Unfortunately, just got right by O'Neal Cruz in the outfield, and he loses his no hitter. But man, the day is soon. Paul Skeens, the day is soon for Paul Skeens to throw either a no hitter or a perfect game because that's just how dominant he is. He's super close. I mean, I feel like every game, every stat line he has, it's like one or two hits that he gives up. So he's been close many times. But I'm also just waiting for him to throw a complete game. His manager's got to let him go. I know sometimes his pitch counts they get up there, but the dude was throwing 130 pitches in college. Let him throw like 110 in the league, and let him get his complete games.
Go ahead, Joe. I was just going to say, hey, come on, Drew. What are you trying to do, man, in this career? 130 pitches? I don't know. What are they pitching these days? I figured
they pitch about 80 to 90 max, and I don't even think they pitch that right now.
Yeah.
They try. They get up high 90s.
Yeah, but they usually only go 5 to 6 innings. It's hard.
That's true. But when you dominate like Paul Skeens, you're gonna go. They're gonna make him go as long as he can.
I mean, if I was the manager, I'd let him go. I mean, why not? I mean, he's pitching phenomenal, so just let him ride it out. I mean, the Mets. He's on the Mets, right? Is that correct?
Pirates.
That's right, Pirates. Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of the manager, of the manager wanting to keep him in. I mean, you can, waste an arm, like Andrew said, but I mean, how often does a no come, or how often does a perfect game come? I mean, so when the time comes, you just got to let him pitch. I mean, yeah, like you said, if it takes 120 pitches, well, I mean, rest them 6 days.
Yeah, I mean, I believe we're on the longest streak of no hitters in the league. It's been about we're gonna hit like 2 years soon. I think we had a couple no hitters in 2024. Dylan Cease, I know threw one. Blake Snell when he was on the Giants, he threw one. We had about 4 that year, but we haven't had one since. We've had it close. I believe one of the Guardians pitchers he took I want to say he was honestly throwing a perfect game, and he took that into the eighth, maybe even the ninth inning, before he lost that. But yeah, it's like you said, when they got it going, you kind of just gotta let him go because he's had multiple instances where he's gone 6 or 7 no hit innings, and then they pull him. But it's tough because like you said, you don't want to, like you said, Andrew, you don't want to kill the guy's arm. We all know teams don't want their pitchers to have Tommy John surgery.
I was just gonna say, that surgery, the Tommy John surgery, and it looks like the Pirates haven't thrown a no hitter since Francisco Cordova and Ricardo Rincon in 1997. So yeah, it's been a while for the I was gonna say Steelers, but Pirates.
Yeah, so hopefully this year we get either one of the two, a no or a perfect game, but we'll see. But to end us off, Joe, I think I let you know earlier if you want to talk a little bit about hockey. I know the Sharks had some great news, I believe last week.
Yeah, they got the number 2 pick. They got Montreal got the number 1 pick. They were it's a protected for Montreal. It's a protected top 5 or top 6 pick, and they were projected to be like 8 or 9, and that was going to be sent away, and they were worried, and they got the number 1 overall pick, surprisingly. So I know that they're happy with that, and then the Sharks got number 2, and they're looking at a young defenseman who plays in Canada right now, Chase Reed, to put in that lineup with all those other young guys. He's 18 years old, so we'll see what they do out there in San Jose. I would love for them to, probably would be smart to get they say he's a great skater, and it's hard to find a defensive player that's a great skater. They say he's good on power plays, so you know what? I think it would be a great pick for them.
Should they trade that pick for Connor McDavid?
They're talking about trading back, actually, from what I've heard. Oops.
Oh, I've seen that too.
So, I've heard that they might trade it back, getting someone else in a top elite. But I would make that trade for Connor McDavid for the number 2 overall. I mean, he's worth it. He's a proven already talented guy, and it's just they're already going young. Might as well stay young and go with another young defender. He's can't go wrong with a Canadian. So he's an 18-year-old. He plays for the Ontario League, I believe, out there. So he's already playing in the pros out there. I think, if I'm corrected, I'm pretty sure he's out there in the pros out there in Canada. So it'd be a good thing for the Sharks. Sharks need to try to make a playoff. I mean, man, but I've been watching the playoffs this year, and Colorado looks. Oof, I think they might win it all. They're playing phenomenal right now. Colorado Avalanche are playing good, and we'll see what happens. I'm just hoping that the Sharks can do something, and we'll find out next year.
It's funny. We saw the Sharks get the number 2 pick, and I saw a tweet. It was like Adam Silver, you know what to do, and it was like give the Warriors the second
Yeah.
overall pick. They ended up with pick 11. The Warriors ended up with pick 11. I was upset. Don't know what they're gonna do. I believe there's a forward or a wing out in Michigan from the championship Michigan team that they're probably got their eyes set on. Unless one of the top picks wants to fall to pick 11. But yeah, no. So Warriors, they didn't get the same look as the Sharks did.
They never
Steve
do.
Kerr. Steve Kerr returns though. So
Yeah.
that's big news. He had a deal from ESPN for about $7 million. Instead, he's going to accept a 2-year deal from the Warriors that I believe is paying him $20 million a year to make him the highest paid coach annually. So Warriors, they get a higher pick than they were. I think standings wise. They get their head coach back, and it's gonna be an interesting year for the Warriors. But yeah, no, the sports in the Bay Area, hopefully the Giants can start playing better. But
Did,
obviously the Niners are a playoff team, and the
did you
Warriors are
see?
trying to get back.
Did you see the Instagram thing on what their people are saying the Warriors should do? It's LeBron James. Go after LeBron James. Go after Kawhi Leonard. Get the old school Avengers. Get those old school. Just go. Trade your youth away. Get whoever. Get those guys together. And when I started looking at them, I'm like, that's not bad. Just get those guys. They still can play. Like LeBron can still play. You
Yeah,
saw what he can do.
exactly. I actually told my buddies, I said I think it's time LeBron fulfills the prophecy and joins Steph Curry. Especially after what I saw in the playoffs. I mean, I know he's 41. You'd probably have to take a little out of the load management, but he still got it. But I also saw, like the Warriors should. I know I talked about it last episode. Nobody should trade for Kevin Durant, but I think the one team that could and should trade for
Oh,
him,
there you go. I forgot about him.
it's the Golden State Warriors, and why? Because we've seen what happened when Kevin Durant was in Golden State. They won. They would have won 3 championships had he been healthy. And if he stayed, they probably would have won 3 more. But, I think, KD needs to just be real with himself. I want to keep, falling short and losing in the first round, or do I want to go back to winning? I think, your one spot to win, the place you've already won in, that's in Golden State. But should be a
Go for it,
interesting
Joe. What do you
offseason.
think on
I want
that?
that real quick. I agree with Andrew. With Paul George and LeBron. I mean, with Kerr, he doesn't play, rookies. He doesn't play young talent.
Yeah.
So might as well get the veterans in there, and what you said, Drew, cut back LeBron's minutes. I mean, you got Steph Curry, you got Paul George, you have other guys that can play more minutes. Bring LeBron in.
You got
And
Moody that will be coming back from the injury. Kawhi Leonard, I mean not Kawhi. What's his name? Jimmy Butler coming back from the injury. So yeah, I mean you gotta have a lot of star players. Some guys might have to take cheaper deals. But who knows?
and then
Yeah.
one more thing I want to add is that what if the A's do play in the playoffs, and why don't they just go to Oakland real quick and play a couple games over there?
That would be good. That'd be nice, but I doubt it. That's
I
bad.
don't know. I think the Rats have taken over that stadium.
Yeah, right. It's
I
not
don't
right.
know if that. I don't know if that's gonna happen. Like I said,
It's
they'll
only
probably
ready
force
for a
them.
flea market right now. That's
Yeah, they'll probably either if they had the option between the AAA stadium and not Oracle and the Oakland Coliseum, they'll probably pick the AAA stadium. But that's good. That's good. But that is all for today. Thank you all for tuning in. I'd like to thank both my guests or my co-host and my guest for joining me today. Hopefully we have more episodes like this. I always say the more the merrier. But thank you all hold on. Oh, I almost forgot. Episodes every Wednesday. Try to get them out early. We get post out, or I get post outs. You get my initial reactions on certain games when I can. One last time. Oh, on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Spotify. One last time. Thank you all for tuning in. And until next time, stay ready.
Peace.